When a family goes online to search for funeral services, what are they really looking for? Are they hunting for the perfect keyword? I don't think so. They are looking for answers, guidance, and comfort during a truly difficult time. And that's what we're going to explore today. How can funeral homes connect with families in a more meaningful way online?
Mm-hmm.
We'll be looking at this blog post from Director's Corner.
Okay.
It's called The Death of SEO and the Dawn of AEO, Getting Found in the Modern Age. Catchy title, right?
Yeah, it is.
Basically, it argues that all those old school SEO tricks are fading away. You know, the keyword stuffing, shady backlinks.
That's true.
It just doesn't work anymore.
Search engines have really changed their focus. They're all about user experience now. They want to provide content that actually helps people.
So it's not enough to just have a website. You need to make sure it's actually providing value to those who need your services.
Right, especially in this industry.
Yeah.
You know, families who are searching for funeral services.
They're not having a good day.
No, they're not. They need more than just keywords.
They need support.
They need answers. And that's where this whole idea of AEO comes in.
AEO.
Ask engine optimization.
Okay, I'm listening. What's that all about?
It's about understanding the questions your potential clients are asking
Okay,
and then providing clear, comprehensive, and empathetic answers.
I see. So like someone who just lost a loved one,
Right.
they're probably not searching for just funeral home.
Probably not. They might be searching for something more specific, like how to plan a cremation or grief support groups in their area.
So it's more about topics, not just keywords.
Exactly.
It's about genuinely trying to help people.
Yes. And this blog post from Director's Corner,
Mm-hmm.
it outlines some really practical steps that funeral homes can take to embrace AEO.
I'd love to hear about those.
Well, the first step is to really understand the questions that your potential clients are asking. Don't underestimate the power of just listening.
Oh, right.
You can explore online forums or support groups related to grief and bereavement.
Mm-hmm.
Pay attention to the language people are using, the questions they're asking.
So it's about combining those tools like Answer the Public with just good old-fashioned empathy.
Exactly. It's about data and human connection.
I like that. So once we understand the questions, what do we do with that information?
That's when you can start creating really high quality content. You know, content that directly addresses those questions that you uncovered.
So you become like a trusted resource for people.
Precisely.
I think I saw the blog post mention things like blog posts and articles, FAQs, videos, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
What types of topics should funeral homes be covering?
Well, think about what you've learned by listening. Maybe a guide to different funeral and cremation options. Explain the pros and cons of each one.
Okay.
You could create videos on how to plan a funeral, break down the process into easy steps,
Mm-hmm.
or address questions about funeral costs, grief support resources, veterans benefits.
Right. It's about anticipating people's needs and providing information that's both accurate and easy to understand.
Yeah.
But then how do you make sure that all this great content actually reaches the people who need it?
That's where schema markup comes in.
Schema markup. I'm not familiar with that. What is that?
Think of it as a way to highlight the key information on your website.
Okay.
It helps search engines understand what your website is about.
So instead of just seeing a wall of text,
Right.
the search engine can quickly pick out those important details.
Exactly. You want them to see things like your business name, your address, phone number,
Mm-hmm.
but also specifics about your services, your pricing,
Right.
the types of funerals that you specialize in, things like that.
So if I'm searching for cremation services near me,
Mm-hmm.
I'm more likely to find a funeral home that has specifically said, hey, we offer cremation services.
Exactly. It helps connect the right people with the right services at the right time.
Schema markets sound like a powerful tool.
It is.
But what about actually connecting with people offline?
Oh, that's crucial. Community building is all about establishing trust and credibility.
Okay.
It's about showing that you're not just a business.
Right.
You're a compassionate partner. You're there to support them during these difficult times.
So it's about getting out there, meeting people face to face.
Absolutely. Partner with local organizations, participate in community events, volunteer your time. Consider sponsoring a grief support group, offering educational workshops on funeral planning, things like that.
These are all great ideas.
Yeah.
So it's not just about seeking profit, it's about actually providing support.
Right.
I like that. Okay, last but not least, let's talk about user experience on a website. What are the key things that funeral home will keep in mind?
Well, you have to think about the emotional state of someone who's visiting your website.
Sure.
They're likely grieving, stressed, overwhelmed.
Yeah.
So the last thing they need is a website that's cluttered or confusing to use.
Right.
So keep the design clean and uncluttered. Use clear language.
Okay.
Make sure your contact information is very easy to find.
Mm-hmm.
And provide easy links to those important pages, like your services, your pricing, your FAQs.
Okay, so make it easy to use and understand.
Exactly.
It all comes back to empathy. Understanding the needs of the people you're trying to reach.
Yes.
But this all seems like a lot. I mean, implementing all of this AEO stuff.
It can feel overwhelming.
Yeah.
But that's where a company like Director's Corner can be so helpful.
Oh, right. Didn't they mention in their post that they specialized in AEO solutions for funeral homes?
They did. They can help with every step of the process.
Okay, so they can be like a guide.
Exactly. They can help you identify those key questions, craft engaging content, implement schema markup correctly, things like that.
That sounds helpful. So before we get into the nitty-gritty of schema markup, let's take a quick moment to really break it down.
Let's talk more about schema markup. I know it sounds technical,
Yeah, it kind of does.
but it can really make a difference for your website.
Can you give us an example? Like, how could a funeral home use schema markup to stand out?
Okay, let's say you specialize in green burials.
Okay.
They're becoming more and more popular these days. You can actually use schema markup to tag the content on your website.
Oh, interesting.
So when someone searches for eco-friendly funerals or green burial providers, search engines will know that your website is a relevant source.
So it's
Yeah,
like putting a label on a gift, so you know exactly what's inside.
exactly. Schema markup helps search engines understand what your website offers, so it can be delivered to the right people.
Okay, that makes sense. And it all ties back to this idea of AEO, right? Being genuinely helpful.
Right. It's not about tricking the system. It's about clarity and transparency.
Got it. Are there any downsides to schema markup? Anything funeral homes should watch out for?
Well, like any tool, it has to be used correctly.
Of course.
If you use it incorrectly, it can actually hurt your website's ranking.
Oh, how so?
Well, imagine you tag your website as offering cremation services, but you don't actually offer them.
Right.
That would create a bad experience for the user, and search engines might penalize you for it.
So you can't just set it and forget it. You have to keep it updated.
Exactly, but the benefits outweigh the risks. Schema markup can really improve your visibility online.
And make for a better user experience.
Exactly, and ultimately help you attract more families.
This has been really helpful. I'm starting to understand schema markup a lot better.
Good.
But it still seems like a lot to manage.
I understand. It's a shift in how we think about marketing.
Yeah.
It's about being proactive, understanding your audience, and creating meaningful content.
So how can funeral homes handle all of this? Especially if they don't have a dedicated marketing team.
Well, that's where a company like Director's Corner can be so valuable.
Oh, right. They're the ones who wrote that blog post.
Yes, they specialize in AEO solutions for funeral homes.
Okay.
They can help you with every step of the process.
So they can help with the keyword research and the content creation and make sure the schema markup is implemented correctly.
All of that.
That sounds great, but isn't it expensive to hire a company like that?
Well, it might seem expensive at first, but you have to consider the return on investment.
Okay.
Think about the cost of lost opportunities. What if families can't find you online? Or they're turned off by a poorly designed website?
That makes sense.
Investing in expert guidance can actually save you money in the long run.
It's not just about saving money. It's about spending it wisely.
Exactly, and it frees up your time so you can focus on what really matters.
Providing compassionate care to families.
Yes, it's about finding that balance between digital expertise and that human touch.
I like that. So we've talked about understanding the audience, creating high-quality content using schema markup. We've talked about the benefits of working with a company like Director's Corner. But how does all of this translate into real results?
That's a great question. Let's look at some real-world examples of funeral homes that have used AEO successfully.
Okay, I'd love to hear those. After all, seeing is believing.
Right.
So you mentioned some real-world examples of funeral homes that have actually used AEO successfully.
Oh, yeah. I remember this one funeral home. It was in a mid-sized city, and they were having trouble attracting new clients. Their website was outdated. They were relying a lot on word-of-mouth referrals,
Okay.
but those were drying up. So they decided to try AEO.
Okay. What did they do?
Well, first, they really tried to understand their community's needs. They did surveys, checked out community forums, talked to local organizations, and they found out that people were really interested in personalized funeral services.
So going beyond the standard funeral arrangements.
Right. They wanted something more customized.
I see.
So this funeral home, they started creating blog posts and videos
Okay.
showcasing all these unique funeral ideas.
Like what?
Well, like how to incorporate someone's hobbies into the service,
Oh,
or
nice.
ways to celebrate their cultural heritage, or creating these memorial events that really reflected the personality of the deceased.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and they used schema markup to highlight all of these specialized services on their website.
So people could actually find them.
Their website traffic went way up, and they started getting inquiries from families who specifically wanted those personalized services.
Wow, so they actually saw results.
They did. Their reputation grew too. They became known as this forward-thinking funeral home.
I see. So it's a great example of how AEO can be about so much more than just keywords and rankings.
Absolutely. It's about understanding what people really care about and then using digital tools to bridge that gap.
Between the need and the solution,
Yes, it's about making the online experience more human.
especially in such a sensitive industry.
Exactly. People go online for information,
Right.
but they also want connection,
Understanding.
support, and AEO can help you do all of that.
I think this has been a really helpful conversation.
Good.
I think the main takeaway for our listeners is that AEO, it's not a magic bullet. It takes effort,
Right.
dedication, a willingness to try new things.
It's a journey.
But with the right mindset and the right tools and maybe some guidance from Director's Corner, AEO can really help funeral homes thrive. Build those connections with families, become a trusted resource
And ultimately fulfill your mission.
of providing compassionate care. Exactly. Well, thank you so much for joining us for this exploration of AEO. I hope everyone found it valuable and insightful. And remember, AEO, it's more than just a marketing strategy.
It's a philosophy.
It's about putting people first, embrace it, and you might be surprised at what you can achieve.
Until next time.